When Jules and I sat down in the final few weeks of 2019 to plan the year ahead, we had high hopes. We knew that we had a number of bookings for our furnished holiday lets, with more coming in on a regular basis. Our shared living projects and rental properties were all doing well and being received well by the tenants and the housemates. And perhaps most exciting in all, we had progress in property. Our first information evening was planned for April. The one thing we did not plan for was a global pandemic. As the year rolled on and the pandemic started, followed by lockdown, it hit us hard. The very beginning, when we went into it, we had a thriving furnished holiday let business. Now, our voids in the rental properties had been about what we expect, but we were hit by a bit of bad luck because just as lockdown started, we had a peak in our voids at 22%. Now, the filling voids was hit by three things. Firstly, because of the uncertainty, people didn't want to move, and that's understandable. Secondly, with so many people working from home, doing routine things like credit checks became really troublesome. And thirdly, property viewings, whilst not impossible, were extremely difficult. As the pandemic really struck and we hit the lockdown, there was so much that was unknown. We didn't know how deep it was going to go. We didn't know how long it was going to go on for. And as managing director, I had to do a lot of soul searching. But I knew two things. I knew that firstly, we had to look after our business and that we could survive this. Secondly, I knew we had to do the right thing by our tenants and our housemates. You see, after all, we are responsible for their homes. Their homes are their sanctuary, and that has such an impact on their quality of life. And that responsibility is not something that Jules or I take lightly. So I took the decision right at the beginning of the pandemic to do two things. Firstly, I arranged a line of credit. So this allowed us to ride out any problems that we might have had with tenants or housemates not being able to pay because they'd lost their job or because they'd been struck down by the pandemic. It meant that we didn't have to put any pressure on them at a time that was already difficult. Now, as it happens, we've had one housemate has lost her job, but she's been able to continue to pay. We've had to give her some extra slack, which we've been perfectly willing to do. And we've had quite a close call with another housemate who tested positive. Fortunately, she had another test 10 days later and she was all clear. But things could have been so much more difficult than that. The other thing that we did was to increase our marketing spend, because I knew that we will come through this, and when we do, when we get to the other end, the companies that put themselves in a good position are going to be the ones that not only survive, but thrive. And I wanted to be in that group. So what that's allowed us to do, that's allowed us to look at opportunities and to seize them. And we've managed through that to have a key worker in Abbey Green View, which is our flagship furnished holiday let, for nearly all of lockdown. Now that's created some difficulties with things like cleaning and managing them, but we've worked around that and we've managed that in a really good way. And what that's actually resulted in, surprisingly, is things have come together to mean that May, right in the middle of lockdown, has been our second best month ever. Now, that's not just because we've done extremely well, that's also because we've had lower costs, but it could have been so much different, as it has been for many, many companies operating in the hospitality sector. The other thing that has done, by increasing our marketing spend, we are now in a great position. As we see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're expecting to be able to reopen the furnished holiday lets on the 4th of July. We haven't had confirmation yet, but that's what we're working towards. That means that we are already seeing bookings coming in. We've put lots of things in place so that we can capitalise on the market that's out there and the people that are wanting to travel, and that pent-up desire of people to travel within the UK. The other thing that is happening from the 4th of July is we're starting viewings again, because we are in a position now to start to build our property. The next property is going to be another furnished holiday let. We've had a bit of fun in the office and we've called our next furnished holiday let Horace the Holiday Let. I had to give it some kind of working title, so what better one than that? And there will be opportunities for our investors as well, moving forward as we start the viewings. We've already got Avril, our PA, making arrangements, and I know she's phoning up estate agents trying to make those viewings as we speak now. So going forward, we think the future is bright. We will be holding our information evening. We've got it penciled in for October. We're actually we're working on dates. We're waiting for the next set of announcements from the government as to what we can do with evenings like that. But we are pretty hopeful that's going to happen in October, and I will be in touch again once we know the details. So I hope you've all managed to stay safe through lockdown, and that you continue to keep safe and well as we go forward, because there are challenges ahead, but at least now we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm confident that what we've done at the beginning and during lockdown has put us in a great position going forward, and I'm excited for the future of Let's Delight.